Good morning, Taiwan, and thank you for joining us today. I am Louisa Lee here to provide you with the most up-to-date news around the world. 早安，你好，欢迎收看 Louisa 报报，每天给你最新最有趣的新闻。We start off today's news with the ongoing violence that has been taunting the towns of Mexico. Drug-related incidents are continuously reported in the region, with the latest one occurring in the city of Acapulco. 墨西哥的 Acapulco 是最近出现一连串的暴力事件，大多都跟毒贩争夺地盘有关。最新的一件案件是一群歹徒枪杀4个人后纵火。
These are among the latest casualties of the spiralling violence that's engulfed the Mexican beach city of Acapulco. The 4 men were found tied up, each with a gunshot to the head at a car workshop. Police said an unknown group burst into the office, shot the victims, then set light to 2 vehicles after pouring petrol over them. Flashpoints like Acapulco have seen a wave of violence as drugs gangs battle for control of the Pacific coast. The cartels have been terrorizing the city since troops killed a senior gang kingpin 2 years ago, triggering an internal power struggle. Drugs violence across Mexico has claimed more than 42,000 lives in the past 5 years.
And according to the latest report, Noel Saguero Navarez, who is said to have played a big role in the nation's most powerful drugs cartel, has been arrested by Mexican authorities the same day that the leader of the La Familia gang was captured. Officials believe that the recent move will significantly reduce the cartel in Mexico and abroad. Now to other news, UK shoppers are starting to shrink their daily expenses, and their latest penny-pinching tactic is showing at the top retailer in Britain for the first time in more than 10 years. 英国特立购最新的报告说，他们的业绩出现了10年来首次下降，显示英国的民众也在减缩他们的开支。
The extent of pain being felt by British shoppers became clear when its top retailer, Tesco, reported one of its biggest ever falls in sales. They were down 0.5% for the first time in more than a decade. 1 in every £10 spent in Britain goes to Tesco, but customers are cutting back on food, which is usually considered a safe market. The retailer made an operating profit in the first half of the year of 3.7%, helped by overseas sales. Tesco's Chief Operating Officer, Laurie McIlwee, says trading in Britain has been tough.
The UK consumer is hit very hard at the moment. Petrol prices, increases in utility costs, increases in VAT, a lot of security, a loss of security around whether your job is going to be there. So hit pretty hard. Tesco in the UK has a much greater proportion of general merchandise, things like electrical and clothing, an easier product to defer a purchase of than just pure food.
Sales at rival retailer Sainsbury's were slightly better, but growth was modest. Britain's third biggest grocer reported a 1.9% rise in the second quarter. It's not just food sales that are slowing. Shoppers are also cutting back on discretionary goods, which Tesco sells a large proportion of. Adam Leyland of Grocer Magazine says the state of the economy is forcing Tesco's competitors to fight harder for a share of the market.
The fact is that the likes of Sainsbury's and Morrison's and Asda have also really improved. In the early noughties, they had the market virtually to themselves as the others were imploding. Now everyone's taking a nibble at them. They're there to be nibbled at, and everyone's doing so.
The results were released as Britain's economic growth in the second quarter was unexpectedly revised down to just 0.1%. They also strengthened calls for the government to slow its deficit reduction.
And now let's check out what's going on in the entertainment world. George Harrison, the Quiet Beatle, remembered. The documentary, titled George Harrison Living in the Material World, has premiered in London earlier this week, with other surviving Beatles attending the event to pay tribute to their good friend. 前披头士成员 Paul McCartney 和 Ringo Starr 日前出席了 George Harrison 纪录片的首映会，来纪念他们的好朋友。
Beatles legends Sir Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr took a trip down memory lane at the weekend, attending the London premiere of a new documentary film about the life of their late former bandmate George Harrison. Accompanied by his fiancée Nancy Cheval, Sir Paul was looking forward to the screening.
He was my little mate, you know, on the school bus when he was very little. and we were both very little, mind you. Yeah, but it does bring back a lot of fond memories. He's a lovely boy, and he's sorely missed by us all.
Directed by Academy Award winner Martin Scorsese and produced by Olivia Harrison, George's life is retold through archive footage, photos, home movies and new interviews.
How many Beatles does it take to change a light bulb? 4.
Of famous faces have taken part in the film, including Eric Idle, Terry Gilliam and Ringo Starr.
He was a really good friend, that's my memory. Besides the musician and the Beatle and the guy who loved racing cars and loved gardens, you know, he was a good friend of mine.
Loved by his peers and still respected today, younger musicians, including Texas singer Charlene Spiteri and former Oasis star Noel Gallagher, were also at the event.
Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here.
George Harrison, living in the material world, will receive a limited cinema release before being shown on the BBC in the UK and on HBO in the US.
And the late king of pop, Michael Jackson's name is being mentioned everywhere, from the Los Angeles courtroom to the Montreal stage. Michael Jackson's The Immortal World Tour has kicked off in Canada, perfectly interweaving the superstar's iconic hits and dances with the mind-blowing moves of the talented bunch, the acrobats from Cirque du Soleil. 太阳马戏团向 Michael Jackson 致敬，推出 Michael Jackson's The Immortal World Tour， 已经在加拿大进行，多彩多姿的舞台特效，非常的精彩。Superstar Michael Jackson's music presented like never before. An extraordinary theatrical performance that led to screams, cries, and a standing ovation. After 2 years of hard work from the Cirque du Soleil team and Jackson's personal crew, Michael Jackson's The Immortal World Tour finally had its premiere on October 2nd in Bell Centre of Montreal, Canada. With Jackson's powerful music in the background, the superstar's striking signature poses are brought to life by the world-class entertainers, taking one's mind to a fantasy world that's full of razzle-dazzle.
Take the sound before you make it and you start to freeze, and so it looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is you're fighting for your life inside up. Get up, get up, keep on. When the boss goes up, don't stop till you get up. Keep on. When the boss goes up, don't stop till you get up. Keep on. When the boss goes up, don't stop till you get up. Keep on. When the boss goes up, don't stop till you get up.
The heart-stopping show will tour for about 2 years throughout North America before moving on to Europe and the rest of the world. A resident show will open in early 2013 at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino located in Las Vegas, Nevada, all to celebrate Jackson's legacy. An awe-inspiring production not to be missed. Of course, we wouldn't be able to see it here in Taiwan, but do make a note that it will be showcasing in Las Vegas for a while. Now to other news, move over Lions, the Dolphins have stolen your spot. As for the past weekend's box office, the animal flick Dolphin Tale rose from the third to the first place, leaping over Brad Pitt's Moneyball and The Lion King 3D to our surprise. 本周的北美票房由海豚电影 Dolphin Tale 登上冠军，光周末的票房就赚进1400万美金，而其他的电影成绩又如何呢？带你一起来看看。
The family film Dolphin Tale jumped to the top of the movie box office over the weekend, unseating The Lion King and beating 4 newcomers in the process. Dolphin Tale, which had finished third when it debuted a week earlier, took in more than $14 million over 3 days at U.S. and Canadian theaters. The movie is based on the true story of a dolphin that gets snared by a crab trap and is rehabbed with a prosthetic tail. Dolphin Tale, which stars Harry Connick Jr., Ashley Judd, and Morgan Freeman, has been helped by positive reviews. As has the baseball drama Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt, which had held strong, finishing second with $12.5 million. Pitt plays real-life Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane, who used unconventional statistical analysis to field a small-budget team of overlooked players to make an unlikely run at the playoffs. The 3D makeover of the animated classic The Lion King, the box office champ for the past 2 weekends, dropped to third with $11 million. Among the new releases, 50-50, which tells the story of a young man's battle with cancer, fell short of pre-weekend estimates with $8.9 million in ticket sales. The film did earn positive comments from moviegoers over the weekend.